It is hot outside and it is also heating up in League One action. Welcome to another episode of League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at I'm Rich, but I'm not. The man who knows more than anybody about the hot temps. That's going to be Brian opposite me here in the screen. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. The weather is definitely turning hot, so gonna be out in the heat tomorrow, and I've already spoiled it on Twitter, but I'm gonna just do it right at the start of the show. It's water tonight, 100% water. 108-degree feels like temps tomorrow. Yeah, gonna be all water for me for a while this heat wave sticks around for sure.
Yeah, that's certainly smart. Mine has some water in it, but it's not entirely water. I'm gonna go with the Four Roses tonight, the small batch. Gotta love the small batch. I did go to the liquor store lately, and I saw some new whiskeys that I wanted to try. So I'm gonna. There are some from um, Kentucky and Tennessee that I really want to try. So I'm gonna try to get those here before
Heck yeah,
some upcoming episodes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those.
always a good decision, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll partake in the alcohol consumption this weekend will happen, but that's only because I'll be staying inside all weekend,
Yeah.
so,
Yep. And you, as a Union Omaha fan, have a bye week this week. How are you going to celebrate it?
uh, hanging out inside probably and playing, Rematch. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it's like Rocket League, but it's actual soccer, not soccer with a car, but it's like a 5v5, kinda like arena soccer game that I've been playing, and I actually specifically went out and got a PlayStation controller so I could play it on the PC, so
That's cool. I'll have to check that out. You said it's rematch?
Rematch, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess the studio's never even made a sports game before, but it's like blowing up. There's like 80,000 players right now, and it's early access was like 2 days ago, and then the full release of the game comes out tomorrow. So,
Oh,
but
wow.
there's still already 80,000 people on Steam playing it. So it's a big deal.
Interesting. Does it allow any like combat or is it straight soccer? Just
It's kind of like a mix between like indoor soccer and Rocket League. So you have like a stamina bar that you have to be able to um, manage, and then like a sprint bar that you got to manage, but you can bounce like send stuff off the walls, do crazy combos with the walls, stuff like that. But it's really easy to pick up and start playing, but the skill gap is really high. I went into a few ranked modes earlier, and it was a few of those ranked modes. Definitely, the skill cap for some of these kids is pretty high.
oh, wow. Man, that's interesting. 80,000 people already in this match or in this game, and you're already getting ranked opponents and the skill level's already high. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, my skill level isn't high, but theirs is for sure.
Yeah. That's like when I try to go back into Rocket League after having not played it for a few years and just getting demolished by everybody that's in that room.
Yeah, it'll definitely happen.
Yeah. Well, look, we have a bunch of League One stuff to talk about tonight. You all voted. You told us exactly which match you want us to preview, so we will be doing that one later this evening. But to get things started, you already said that you're drinking water. I'm drinking the Four Roses. We can start getting into some of the league news here. Um, we're in the close to the middle of the season, and we're still having new kits drop. First one that we want to talk about here is Greenville's classic kit. Now, I want to get your thoughts before I say anything on my end.
Um, yeah. Um, why is there a high GPU load? Weird. Um, Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to get some things here. Oh, am I muted? Weird. Let's try this. Better now. Negative on
We're
that.
having some technical difficulty. Sorry about that, everybody. Um, so Greenville has this classic kit, and um it's claret and blue. It has the a silver emblem of a new crest from Triumph, and it has the Latin phrase beneath it. I think that
Mm.
says I the translation is something like "We triumph together" or "Together we triumph" or something along those lines. It's a good aesthetic. It has the gold star above the crest. It has a collar on it, which I know is a very divisive topic among people out there. Yeah, I like the collars too. I'm not afraid to admit it. And as an Aston Villa fan, the claret and blue speaks to me. So it's easy for me to look at this and say, yes, I love this kit. So much so that it would not be a surprise to see this one in my closet. So I don't know. We'll see. I was looking at it. They even have hats with the new classic kit aesthetic on the hats too, and I really like that too. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Are we better now? Is my voice coming through yet? No? Um, let's try this.
We'll come back to get some of Brian's thoughts on the Greenville Classic kit. The other kit that was released was Ford Madison's Juneteenth top, which to everybody out there watching and listening, happy Juneteenth. That is today, after all. This kit was designed by Brooklyn Doby in collaboration with Featherstone Flamingos, a supporters group uh, which aims to um, spread awareness about the African American community. And this kit is actually a really nice one too. Now, I love the different designs they have in it. Um,
Okay.
some of the music notes and the saxophone player and all that kind of stuff. But I got to tell you, the scarf that they have and the picture they have of Kyle wearing the scarf. The
Solid.
scarf is a beautiful design in and of itself, but the picture of Kyle, the the location and the lighting that they chose for that picture was just it's that's art. That's art.
Mm. Yeah,
It looks great.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, is it any real shock? First, I'll jump back to the Greenville one really quick. I like it. I mean, you could see my reaction if you're watching the live stream. I think it's great. I love the, I love the look and I love collared kits. So knocked it out of the park on that. And I mean, you go to Forward Madison, anything kit related, Forward Madison knocks it out of the park as well. I mean, I completely agree. There's really nothing about either of these kits that I don't like. They're both perfect.
Yep, I totally agree with you. Um, I I did try to figure out what song was being played in the music staff, like the sheet music there, but I couldn't figure it out. Um, I was trying to see if it was like a jazz standard or if it was something else, but I just I couldn't figure out what tune it was. Um, but we also so not only did we have kit releases coming out now, we also had roster updates from multiple clubs in the league. To start off with, Tormenta signed a new center back. Last name is Rashid. He's a 6'4" center back. That's a big dude.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah. Drafted by Nashville SC. He was a 65th overall pick in the MLS draft. Head coach Ian Cameron released a quote saying, "He has the potential to be a top central defender and needs a run of games, a period of career where he can stay healthy and show consistency. Our club has proved a fertile ground for players like him to find such form. Armed with that proof of concept, he's a guy who can forge a strong career." If you're ever looking for a good quote, go talk to head coach Ian Cameron. That guy's loaded with good quotes.
Yeah. I mean, there's there's not a time where you see an Ian Cameron quote where it's not just poetic. And I think it's just something that he does. I mean, obviously he's a very well spoken guy. You can tell that from all of his interviews. Um, but I mean, Rashid comes for a 6'4" center back. You've got the height. It's something that Tormenta, I mean, it's a shakeup that's definitely needed in that Tormenta back line. Because there's a whole lot of things that are going on with Tormenta. They haven't looked too great this season. Um, and only bringing in defenders and stuff like that is going to get you kind of back on track. You know, that whole big old adage of defense wins championships. I mean, in this instance, defense does win championships, but it also can kickstart your career because you cut or your club's season and career, I guess, in this instance as well. But um, good defense turns into good offense more often than not in this league. So I think a huge signing. I think he is going to come in and make an impact early, and I would expect to see him very, very quickly.
Yeah. I like you said, there have been some concerns with Tormenta's back line, but I think bringing him in will help alleviate some of those concerns. And while you look at the current table and you see that Tormenta is in last place, having a player like him on the back line will help them move up the table.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't anticipate Tormenta being in last place. This is just sort of one of those, down periods in the season for them. But I'm hopeful that this is a good signing for them.
Yeah. And Luke Martin coming in the chat saying that he saw him in person today and he's a big dude. So, yeah, obviously 6'4", 6'4" and a center back. I'm sure he's built like a center back as well. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't want to go up against him.
no.
Union Omaha also had some roster updates. There were three players released. Well, it was a mutual termination of their contract. Goalkeeper Russell Shealy, forward Mehdi Wamri, and another forward Kemia Mish. And then on top of those releases, we had two players come in on temporary contracts. We had a forward, Pato Botello Faz, come in on a 25-day contract. We also just announced Ryan Betcher, a midfielder. He's 6'3", 6'4", midfielder on loan from St. Louis City SC2. So have some leave, you have a couple come in. What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I mean, all of these moves make sense from Union Omaha's perspective. Um, Russell Shealy, he's played early in this season and didn't necessarily play up to the standards that Union Omaha is used to with goalkeepers. They've had a really good run, obviously with Rashid Nuhu, but their backups over the past few years have also played really well, and unfortunately have moved on to other clubs, even starting for some clubs in League One as well. So um, kind of the writing was on the wall there. I saw him get pushed all the way down to third on the roster, and I think keeping keepers on a roster like this, paying three keepers is kind of difficult. And obviously, he wanted some playing time. So moving on there makes sense. And also with the forwards, I mean, Union Omaha has not lit up the scoreboard this season, obviously. So a little bit of a shakeup at the forward positions is probably needed as well. So um, obviously, mutually terminated contracts are probably the best case scenario because if the player doesn't want to be there and the front office doesn't want them to be there, there's no reason to keep a player where they don't want to be. So, um, obviously, doing that brings in um, two guys from loan in a 25-day contract, which, if we see anything from Union Omaha, 25-day contracts, if they go well, obviously, with their backup keeper this season, it turns into a full offer to come play for the club. So, um, yeah, two solid additions and two additions that I think Union Omaha needed. I think they're starting to kind of find defense. So working their way forward now from their back line, which seems to have worked out, is the next logical step in trying to get their season back on track.
Yeah. And in a stretch of matches where they had three within the span of even 7 days, I think it was, um, winning two of those
Yep.
is quite the feat considering, how the season has progressed so far. So there are some fans who are starting to make the turn and show that optimism, and it's good to see that optimism injected back into the fan base because there for a bit it was a little dark in the city of Omaha.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I gave them some poster board material or anything, but I did call for them to be finished last in the league a couple weeks back. So um, then they go on and win two matches out of three, and two of them against rivals. So whatever. I mean, I'm happy, obviously, being an Omaha fan, but the journalist side of me is a little embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie.
That's just a commentator's curse. How about
Yeah, we'll call it that. Yeah.
that? Well, Charlotte Independence also had a roster update. Luis Alvarez was recalled back to Tampa Bay Rowdies. So that was what Alex was hinting at in the live chat. But obviously, we couldn't, say anything until it was confirmed and everything, because that rumor had been swirling for a bit. But you have Alfredo Medense going back to Lexington. Now you have Luis Alvarez going back to Tampa Bay. Um, Even with those absences, Charlotte is still rolling along. They're still looking good.
Mhm. Yeah, it's typical Charlotte fashion, man. I mean, they've always had players that are like big name players. Um, they haven't had them leave on this scale, but they continue to just pretty silently be a solid team year after year. Um, they're not going to wow you with big time stuff, but they're going to be consistent and win matches. So obviously, this Luis Alvarez getting called back to Rowdies hurts. I mean, it's Charlotte's taken a few punches on the nose and just come out swinging still. So exactly as you said, Rich, it's just the fact that they can take these guys out of their rotations and still play as well as they do. It's just a credit to how well that club is run right now.
Yeah, it's truly impressive to see Mike Jeffries leading the team the way that he is and seeing them still being productive minus those two major players. So congrats to them. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Which is it's so unfortunate that that fan base isn't bigger as well, because that club is, I think it's one of the better run clubs right now in the league, obviously with success on the field. They're granted they haven't won the title, but they are in playoff hunts and in playoff positions year after year after year. And so I mean, if I would implore anybody that's in Charlotte that doesn't already go to matches, get out there for this. I mean, this team has a real chance to be something special this year.
Yeah, they are consistently getting better and better each year. Every couple years, they have a little bit of a dip, but by it, like overall, if you look at the stats, they are getting better just about like year after year, and that's really hard to do.
Hmm.
And so Charlotte is knocking on the door. It's just a matter of time before they finally win it, but right now they're knocking, and it's pretty loud knocking too.
Yeah, second place in the league with only 1 point behind Spokane Velocity right now.
Yeah. And saying you have 1 point behind Spokane, with all the talk that there is about Spokane right now, Spokane is good. They are
Hmm.
really good. So to only be 1 point behind Spokane and not even have any matches in hand, like they are even on matches played too.
Yep. Yep.
So, Charlotte, um, and Naples and Spokane, like, yeah,
Great teams.
the postseason is going to be good. Now, Chattanooga's in the top four right now. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. If they can continue being hot, as the season goes on. Um, So that'll be interesting to watch. This is going to be a really fun finish going into the playoffs. It's going to be good.
Hmm. We're already talking about playoffs, and we're just about halfway through the season. I love it. You can never
Well,
not. Got to talk about playoffs whenever we can.
yeah, exactly. Um, well, speaking of, earlier we talked a little bit about bye weeks and everything. Naples has a friendly against Benfica, or at least they recently had one. Um, I think it was yesterday, maybe.
Mhm.
Uh, but Benfica is in the United States for the Club World Cup, and they played two halves of 30 minutes, and Benfica won 2-1, which is actually really impressive because Benfica even loaded their starters in the match too. So
Mhm.
to go up against Naples and win 2-1, that's cool.
Yeah, that's. I mean, what more could you really ask for? If you're FC Naples, I mean, oh yeah, a win would have been nice, but the fact that you only lost by one in two 30-minute halves, that just shows that FC Naples is it's a big time club, obviously.
Yeah. They've cooled off a little bit lately,
Yeah.
but with that kind of a score line, if I'm a Naples fan, I'm jumping for joy because whatever doubts you may have had in recent weeks about Naples and how they're going to recover from this and how they're going to overcome that, that scoreline right there gives me all the confidence I need to get me through the next few matches because that's a cool scoreline.
Yeah, solid.
So Naples had their friendly. Ford Madison has one coming up here next Wednesday or this upcoming Wednesday, June 25th, 7 p.m. Central Time at Breese Stevens. It's not going to be on TV, so you have to get there live. Buy your tickets now. They're going to be playing against Club Tigres under 23 team. And this is also a really cool one. If you are in the area, go. That's going to be a fun match to watch.
Hmm. Yeah, big time club. Um, Going into Bree Stevens Field, I mean, that's the kind of friendly that you ask for. You don't want to play community colleges and stuff like that. You want to play, uh, especially the team with as much history as Tigres does. Um, that's the friendly you want to see, and they're going to treat their fans. This isn't the first time they've played a team like this. I believe they did last year as well. I forget what team they played from uh, Liga MX, but there was another one that they played last season. So Forward Madison really setting the bar pretty high for scrimmages in the season.
Yeah. And I think Spokane has had a friendly in the past too against a Mexican
Beliefs,
team.
I do believe so. Yeah.
But yeah, all of these friendlies that are happening, even if it's against a U23 team, I'm not complaining one bit because that is such a cool opportunity um, to market to avenues and algorithms on social media that you haven't previously had access to. It's a great way to celebrate those in the community. It's a great way to celebrate global football. There's so many benefits to gain from these type of friendlies. Uh, so the fact that it's happening on a repeated basis with some of these clubs, I couldn't support it more.
Hmm. Completely agree.
Yeah. Well, moving into week 15, we had some surprises. We had some man, I don't know if we want to call it upsets, but we had some big matches this weekend. Um, we had Spokane and Charlotte starting off week 15 with a 1-1 draw. We had Omaha beating Greenville in a battle for the belt on 3/11 night there on Thursday. Friday, that match was postponed between One Knox and Richmond. They said it was going to be postponed to a later date. I don't know that we've heard anything about the updated date for that. Um, remake, but we'll keep you updated once we do hear anything. Saturday, we had a draw, a 2-2 draw between Naples and Chattanooga, that new rivalry that everybody loves to keep an eye on. We also had a 2-2 draw between Texoma and Tormenta, 2-1 victory, Spokane over Ford Madison, 3-1 victory, Portland over Omaha with that hat trick, first hat trick in club history from Ollie Wright.
Yep.
Um, 5-2 victory for Avialta on the road at Westchester, and then Charlotte with a 1-0 victory over Greenville. Which one's popping out the most for you?
Um, I'll be biased, but the Omaha loss to Portland. Portland's Ollie Wright getting the hat trick, the first one in club history, is a huge deal. But I also think it was big for momentum for Portland because it was a at that point like a red hot Union Omaha team coming into Portland. Um, and the fact that Portland came out and was able to play that match their way and to really shut out Union Omaha's attack. I mean, didn't completely shut them out, but it seemed to shut them down in that second half, um, and just made the offense a non-factor. And the fact that they caught fire, or Ollie caught fire, and scored the hat trick. I mean, that's a huge deal. That's the big one that sticks out to me personally. Um, Obviously, another postponement. That one also sucks, um, especially when the match was going in the direction of being a really, really good match. It was really fun to watch, and just I forget how late it was, but it was late enough that it got postponed and not called. So I think it's 70 minutes you have to get or something like that, mid 70s for that to work. So didn't quite reach that, but um, that was another huge one. That one sticks out because not only do we get to see that match essentially again, um, hopefully that match, and it seems like that match is going to have the same amount of fireworks as it did the first time, the second time around.
Yeah. And when you were talking about Portland shutting down Union Omaha, that first half was all Union Omaha.
Yep.
I mean, it was pedal to the metal. Second half, Ollie Wright had power on his first goal going high near post. He had placement on the second goal, um, going for that far post. And then the third one was just pure finesse with the curler to the far post. Um, oh, yeah, Soup Loops. Oh, coming in here talking about the goalpost conditions. Um, yeah, you have to believe that was a contributing factor to the postponement too, because
Yeah.
the way that Pablo Hara landed um, and collided with that goalpost, yeah, there was some damage done there.
Yeah. The post is definitely at the very least dented. Um, Probably been replaced by now, but um, yeah, you could really tell during that match that it was getting to the point where it was going to be some serious risk of injury for players. So, and obviously Pablo Cara actually getting injured in it probably played a huge part in it too. But um, as much as I hate postponing matches, it seems like the right thing to do in that situation.
And Luke coming in here asking a question. I think this one was geared toward you. What were your thoughts on the field conditions there in Knoxville?
I don't know, man. It's, at at a certain point, I just have to like accept the fact that this is third division and then just let it happen, you know? I mean, we've seen horrible field conditions multiple times. A new one for League One this past week. Spokane fans getting like tear gassed out of their own stadium. That's another new one. Um, Kind of stuff you only get in Division 3. So, um, yeah, it's Division 3. I'm just gonna say that and leave it at that. Definitely, we always want like perfect pitches, but we're never gonna get them. So at this
Yeah.
point, we're just gonna go with what we got, I guess.
Yeah. One Knox has done a remarkably they've been incredible with their marketing, getting people into the stadium for a simple promotion of Knoxville's largest tailgate or something like that. They had 5,000 people show up. And to get that many people in the stadium and to buy into what product you're selling, um, ideally, you would like to have great field conditions. When you're converting from baseball to soccer, you know,
It
it's
sucks.
not always gonna happen.
It sucks.
It's the unfortunate reality of it. So One Oxy's doing a great job of setting the environment for the hardcore, like the diehard soccer fans who care about the pitch, who care about the lines, who care about the nets, um, and all those subtle nuances that go along with the match. Um, that's going to be tougher to overcome. But all credit goes to One Ox's marketing department for making that tailgate happen and getting that many fans into the stadium. It's a new stadium. Yes, there's a lot of hype because all these people want to visit the stadium. They want to see an event in the stadium, and One Knox is providing that opportunity. But now One Knox has that opportunity that once people have gotten in there, they can get them on a call list. They can call them back. They can reach out to them. They can include them in the email blasts. So it's a great opportunity for One Knox to get more fans coming back to the stadium.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so when we ended week 15, we talked about, Tormenta being in 14th place in the standings. Um, Still have Spokane, Charlotte, Naples in the top three, Chattanooga finishing out the top four. But rounding out the playoff teams at the moment would be Avialta, One Knox, Richmond, Texoma. Um, Now, One Knox is the team in the league who has played the least amount of matches. And so it's interesting to see that. But even despite that, they're still in sixth place.
Yeah. I mean, granted, we're still looking at the table, and obviously there's a clear divide between the top three teams and everybody else. I mean, you could even throw Chattanooga in there. But if we really wanted to get it down to teams being in tiers, obviously 1 and 2, they're starting to run away with points in this league right now. Um, then you kind of have the 3 through 6 range of teams that are all within 6 points of each other. And then it gets super interesting because the last two playoff spots are separated by a single point, and everybody outside of the playoff spot, 8 through 11, is only separated by 1 point in the table. And if you want to go even further, Greenville's 2 points from playoff, Madison's 3 points from playoff, Georgia's 4 points from playoff.
Yeah.
So this table is tight, except for the top two teams. You got the runaways, and then you've got everybody else fighting for playoff position. This is not going to be one of those where we're going to know by the end of week 25 who the 8 teams are going to be. This one feels like it's going to come down to the final day.
Yeah. So we'll probably do like a halfway like season special once we get to that point. Um, but I feel like there's a clear echelon of teams. Um, and there's a clear middle slot of teams, and then there's teams that just I don't know. They're just going to scratch and claw at each other, but they're not going to make playoffs. I'm not going to say them here now. We can save that for that later episode. But here now, looking at the table, you can see where some of those clubs sit. Um, but even here and now, like Spokane, Charlotte, they're yeah, they're in that clear echelon at the top,
Yep.
and I don't see them dropping anytime soon.
No.
But once we start looking into week 16 previews, we have 6 matches this week. We had one last night, and then we have 5 on Saturday. Nobody plays twice this week, and we have bye weeks from FC Naples as well as Union Omaha. So all of the remaining teams will play on Saturday. And I found this when I was looking at one of the many documents I have here on the computer. There are 7 teams, literally half the league does not have a bye week for the remainder of the regular season. If you take into account regular season matches as well as Jaeger Cup matches, um, in some cases you don't even need to include the Jägermeister Cup. You might, I don't know. Anyways, for these teams, they have a competitive match each week for the remainder of the regular season. Chattanooga, One Knox, Ford Madison, Portland Hearts of Pine, Tormenta, Texoma, and Westchester. Now, if you look even closer, Chattanooga hasn't had a bye week since week 9. One Knox had a bye week in week 13. Some could argue that they had a bye week in week 15 because of the postponed match against Richmond, but
Sure.
they still went through like the mental and emotional rigors of getting themselves prepped for the match, and they still played 30 some odd minutes of play. So I'm not going to count that. You have other teams like Tormenta and Texoma who had bye weeks in week 11 and 13, respectively. Westchester had a bye week back in week 6, which is quite a while ago. But here's where it gets even worse. Madison or Portland hasn't had a bye week since week 2 of the regular
Oof.
season. Ford Madison hasn't had a bye week since week 1.
Oh,
Yeah. So to start the season, they get a bye week. For every week after that, they're playing a competitive match. Whether it was US Open Cup, Jaeger Cup, regular season, they're playing a competitive match. That's an incredible amount of wear and tear.
oh, for sure. That's how you find out what your team's made of. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't know if that's necessarily something they wanted to do, but that's how it shook out. So moving forward, no pun intended, they've got their work cut out for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are one of the fans in one of those locations and you come across one of the players, go encourage them to get back on the couch, lay in bed, kick their feet up for a little bit because they don't need to be out walking around. They don't need to be out, all that kind of stuff. Just encourage them to rest and relax and recover.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best it could be at this point.
Yeah. But jumping into some of the previews, first match Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff on ESPN Plus. We have Greenville hosting Chattanooga Red Wolves. Should be a good one. They've already faced each other back in week 7 when Chattanooga hosted Greenville and came away with a 1-0 victory. Now, on the flip side, Greenville has hosted Chattanooga 9 times, including the 2021 playoffs. And it wasn't until the most recent visit, just about a year ago, when Chattanooga finally had their first win ever in Greenville.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Uh, insane to me that you go 9 times and I just heard the Ferris Bueller 9 times thing in my head right as I said that. Um, yeah, and that your first ever win at Greenville was last year, a full calendar year now behind. Uh, that's insane. But history does have a way of repeating itself. So um, crazy. Over the last 5 here, it's really been a tale of two teams. Greenville sitting on 2 goals for 4 goals allowed for a goal differential of -2, and Chattanooga 10 goals for 5 goals allowed for a goal differential of +5. And not only does the goal differential kind of strike you as weird, look at where these two teams are on the table. This traditionally is the reverse of how it has been um, in years past. So there's there's quite a few teams that a lot of people argue over, who are some of the upper echelon of League One, and all of the teams that usually come to mind when you talk about them. Greenville is one of those teams. All of those teams are on the bottom half of the playoff table, missing the playoffs right now. So, I mean, and Chattanooga's been one of those teams where they've missed the playoffs. They've gone to the final. They've kind of ridden that line of being a playoff caliber team, not being a playoff caliber team. Um, and it's completely flipped on its head this season. We have Chattanooga playing some of the best soccer in this league, obviously with their position in the table. They're they're playing really well. And then you have Greenville, who looks like a team we're not used to seeing out of Greenville. It's weird times. I'll say that.
Yeah, it really is. If you look at the last 5 regular season matches between for each of these clubs, Chattanooga is the hottest team in League One at the moment. In the last 5, they have 11 points with a goal differential of point 0.4 with 9 goals scored. Texoma and Spokane both have 11 points as well, but they're sitting on lesser goal differential as well as goals scored. So Chattanooga carrying the torch right now in League One in last 5 regular season matches. If you look at the last 5 overall, Chattanooga is still at the top of the table. Um, and in both of those categories, Greenville is so for regular season matches, Greenville is second to last, and in overall metrics, they are sitting right around 10th place. So yeah, like you said, this is typically the reverse, and so it's weird to see them like this.
Hmm.
Um, Chattanooga is having a hell of a season, and it's fun to see the excitement building in that fan base, and um, to see what they're able to do with this. This is one of those opportunities where if you're working in the front office, this is exciting because suddenly you have bulletin board material that you can throw at. You can chime in on social media and start throwing digs at other clubs and just having fun with it.
Yep.
Um, so hopefully Chattanooga takes more advantage of that opportunity.
Mhm.
But if we're looking at predictions, what are you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, I really don't see a situation where Greenville wins this one. I think Chattanooga's playing that well right now, and I think Greenville is playing that poorly. Even even with it being in Greenville, they're Chattanooga only winning there one time, um, like calendar year ago. I think calendar comes right back around and history repeats itself. So I do like Chattanooga to take this one, and I think they take it handily 3-1.
3-1. Okay. I am gonna go with 2-0. So we're both saying a goal difference of 2,
Yeah.
just how it gets there. Um, yeah, cool. Okay. Next match, also a 7 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff on Saturday evening, also on ESPN Plus. One Knox hosting Tormenta. First meeting of this season. They have met, I think, 6 previous times, if you include Jaeger Cup action as well. One Knox has 4 wins and Tormenta has 2 wins. Now, One Knox has won the last 3 meetings overall, including that Jaeger Cup match, and all 3 of those were also clean sheets. If we're going to go one step further, all 3 of those were also 1-0 victories for One Knox.
Yeah. I think in this one, it's really a tale of two teams in the last five that their fortunes haven't been close to each other. You've got One Knox with 1 win, 3 draws, and a loss, and then Tormenta with 4 losses and a draw. Um, Tormenta's just they're not playing great soccer right now. Knoxville's playing good enough soccer to be in the playoff discussion. Um, and I don't see Tormenta having an offense that can break down a Knoxville defense really much at all. I think in order for Tormenta to get a win here, they're going to have to come out firing on all cylinders, and they're going to have to play a match that is quick paced and they don't give Knoxville time to set up and get that defense right. I think is the only way that they can come through and get a victory in this one. Um, that being said, I don't see them with the ability to do that. Um, so I think Knoxville gets it done with a stout defensive performance. They don't need much offense to win this one. So I think Knoxville takes them down 1-0.
Oh, that was going to be mine. Damn it. Okay. I will
I'll give
go
you the
One
next
Knox
one.
2-1. No, you're good. Super Loop's also coming in here when we were previously talking about the Chattanooga Greenville and Chattanooga going to Greenville with only 1 victory in those 9 visits or whatever. And Super Loop's coming in here saying, yeah, I can't imagine not beating a team for that long. I wonder what that's like. Sorry, Soup Loops.
Yeah,
Love
I
you,
won't.
man.
I won't say the line.
Yep. Nope. Give it about 3 or 4 weeks, and then you can say it again.
Then I'll say the line. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you have One Knox 1-0. I have One Knox 2-1. So
Yep.
still very close.
Yep.
One Knox has only had 1 match where they conceded 3 goals. They've only had 1 match where they've only conceded 2. The rest of those matches were either 1 goal conceded or 0. Um, and both of the matches where they conceded 2 and 3 goals were away matches. They have never conceded more than 1 goal at home this season. So if Torrance is going to do it, they're going to make history while doing it. All right, now we can go to another Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff also on ESPN Plus. Richmond hosting Spokane Velocity. This one could be sneaky good.
Yeah.
They've already faced each other back in week 11. Spokane hosted Richmond and Spokane won 1-0. They've had 3 regular season meetings, all won by Spokane, but they did have a Jaeger Cup match last season, which was won by Richmond. And since we're at City Stadium, decided to pull up some stats there. 13 of Richmond's 20 goals scored have come at home. On the other hand, 12 of their 20 conceded have also come at home. So good things happen at home, but at the same time, also some not so great things happen at home too. Um, Only one of Spokane's opponents has scored 2 or more goals, both home and away. Back in week 2, Spokane hosted One Knox, and it was a 2-2 draw. No team outside of that match this season has scored 2 or more goals on Spokane.
Yeah. This one, it's the thing Richmond has going for it is City Stadium in this one. I think Spokane right now is proving to be the most talented top to bottom club in the league. Um, that being said, we know Richmond has some younger guys as well and some proven guys as well, some proven veterans on their team. Um, this is the kind of moment that the young, especially the younger guys on the pitch, are going to be looking to come in and make a name for themselves. This is the kind of match that you live for as a competitor. You want to come in, please the home crowd, and get a victory against a top of the table team um, like Spokane. And the way you're going to do that is by playing a match that, unfortunately for Richmond, they're going to have to be damn near perfect to win this match because Spokane does not make very many mistakes. And if they do, they are generally very good at capitalizing on getting back and making those mistakes not hurt. That being said, that City Stadium crowd should be rocking for this one. It'd be tough to not want to show up for this one. That crowd shows up for anything anyway, but especially a big match like this, I have a feeling it's going to be super rocking. Richmond's definitely going to need that crowd um, here in this one. If we're sitting and looking at where they're at in the table, their last five, Richmond's been on a bit of a downward spiral, whereas Spokane's been consistent. The last five, Spokane, 2 draws, 3 wins. Richmond in their last five, 3 draws, 2 losses. So the Kickers really need something here to kind of kick their season back into gear. Unfortunately, I really don't see it happening. I think Spokane is just too good, and I think Richmond needs a couple more years to really get that younger core brought up to speed to be able to get it done. Um, but I do think it'll be close. I think City Stadium is going to make this one close, but I do like Spokane to come into City Stadium and get the victory 2-1.
2-1. Okay. That doesn't get in the way of my prediction one bit at all because I was going to say Spokane goes into Richmond and takes away a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Richmond. Honestly, you could say that about any team that's going to go up against Spokane this season. It's not just Richmond. It's everybody's going to have a tough time with them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, moving on from all of those 7 p.m. kickoffs, we have an 8:30 kickoff on Saturday evening, also on ESPN Plus. This is a rematch of a barn burner back in Week 9. Texoma hosting Charlotte. Now, back in Week 9, Texoma looked like they were going to win this one against Charlotte, but Charlotte came back to win 4-3 on the road for that victory. So, with that victory for Charlotte, Texoma became the only team to score 3 goals, 3 or more goals in a match and not have a single win this season. And then the other thing that I was going to talk about, ooh, what was I gonna? That was, what was that? Here it is. All right. So when you look at Texoma, uh, in their recent run of form, they're undefeated in their last five. And in that stretch of five matches, let me go to that one here as well. Um, when every single one of these matches was decided by 1 goal or fewer, each of their victories was by 1 goal. Then they had 2 draws along the way. The only time that Texoma has lost a match where it was decided by one was that Week 9 match against Charlotte, where they lost 3-4. So a lot of stuff to pull from that one match against Charlotte. So I feel like this one's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Hmm. Yeah, this one this one is definitely going to be a good one. But I want to go and take everybody back to week 8 when we were talking about this match before it happened in week 9. I called out a Texoma victory. It looked really good leading up to the comeback for from Charlotte. And my method of thinking was the run of form that the teams were on seemed to have a pattern. It also seems like right now there's a bit of a pattern. Texoma in their last 5 draw, win, 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 draw, and Charlotte win, loss, win, draw, win. So in my head, this pattern looks like it sets up perfectly for Texoma to take the victory in this one. Um, Texoma's been playing a lot better, and this kind of was my start of seeing Texoma really play up to their potential. Was that week 9 match against Charlotte? Um, and the talking points for that match kind of go on here. I mean, there's a pattern in their last 5. There's a pattern in the style of play that Charlotte has. Unfortunately, we sang Charlotte's praises earlier, but we also know that they tend to take off for teams that they don't deem as big of a deal to play. Um, this being a new club, I have sneaking suspicions that Charlotte's going to take them lightly again, and I think I'm going to have to pick Texoma again in this one for this upset. I think Texoma at home in front of the home fans actually gets it done this time against Charlotte. Um, I don't think it's going to be a barn burner match like this other one in week 9 was, but I do like Texoma to win a close one, and I like them. I like them 3-2.
All right. I actually had it flipped. I had Charlotte winning 3-2.
It'll be close. Either
It
way,
is gonna,
this is going to be a close match.
yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Now, before we get to the last match of week 16, we actually had one earlier this week on Wednesday, with Westchester beating Ford Madison in Bree Stevens, 2-1. And the man with the exacto, take a look at this guy. Look at him celebrate.
I text you. Was it the morning after the match? Yet this morning it must have been.
This morning.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
this morning. Jeez, the weeks are running together. Yeah, I text you this morning saying the exacto feels so good. I didn't want to do it
Congrats,
last night, but I waited till this morning to throw the exacto in there.
man.
I don't
Well,
get very
congrats, man.
many,
Now,
and I'm
Rob.
gonna have to have them to move up the table. So I have to.
Yeah. Well, I haven't looked at to see which way the fans went, but Shadow Wolf did get the exacto last night as well.
Oh, of course,
Um,
Shadow Wolf coming
so
in again.
I think that's
Gosh.
their 9th exacto this season.
Oh,
So they have 9, and then I'm in second with 7. Um, so it's yeah,
yeah.
there's some pressure on us to keep pushing forward and get some more exactos here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys are running away with it, so I really need to start getting into proper form here. Uh, because the fans and you are leaving me very firmly in the dust at this point.
But not only did you get the exacto last night, who won the week last week?
Uh, I did, but it was close.
Yeah.
It was close. I mean, I'll take the week, but uh, too close for comfort. I really got to start making these a little bit. These exactos are going to have to come in because I think the fans and us generally are on the same page. I make a lot of picks that are more emotional than probably statistical, like the fans and you do, and that's hurt me this season. But it all comes around in the end. last year, I think when we did it, it ended up being pretty damn close as well. So
Yeah.
I don't expect you guys to run away with it, but you very well could. But I'm going to try to make sure that that doesn't happen.
It's also crazy how many draws are happening this season, which are totally killing any attempt by us to have any
Y-
accuracy here.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, when the fans are getting that benefit of the doubt, it makes it a little bit further away. But it's also a challenge for us. I mean, the fans aren't. I mean, I would say the fans aren't watching every single match, but it seems like a few of them, especially, are watching and dissecting every single match that goes on about as much as we are. So, uh, more power to them. I think it just makes it a little more difficult for us, but I like the challenge.
Yeah. Well, we can get into the last prediction of the week. We have Saturday night. Oh man, League One After Dark, big time here. 11 p.m. kickoff Eastern time.
Big
Also on ESPN Plus.
big drinking hours for this one.
Oh man, this was the winner of the fan vote for the in-depth preview for this week. We have AV Alta hosting Portland Hearts of Pine.
Wouldn't like it. Some
Yeah,
expansion side on expansion side after
yeah.
dark. I mean, come on, man. Does it get any better A than League One after dark? No, it doesn't. Um, but B, two expansion sides after dark. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Love it.
that's exactly it. You have number 5, AV Alta hosting number 10, Portland. This is their first ever meeting, as you said, expansion on expansion side. It's the first of 3 meetings between the two sides. This is the only time it will be um, at AV Alta. The remaining 2 matches will be in Portland. Now, this is week 16. The next time they face each other is in week 18 when Avialta goes to Portland. They won't face each other again until the very end of the season, week 34. Let me pull that up. I want to make sure I'm getting that right. Uh, yeah, until the very end of the season. So they get to see each other twice in very small time frame there in the summer, and then once at the very end of the season. Avialta is a very good team at home. There is no doubt about that. They've had surprise after surprise in league play, also in U.S. Open Cup and even Jaeger Cup. Um, so to see them, playing against Portland Hearts of Pine in this one makes it a very intriguing match. Not only for Avialta's recent performances, for their strength of playing at home, but also the intrigue that comes with Portland traveling all the way across the country, literally all the way across the country, the continental U.S. to make this match happen. And um, Portland going through all the rigors of the travel to get to Avialta is going to be uh, just crazy in and of itself. But then to see these two take the pitch against each other is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Um, this is gonna be it's gonna be an after dark match for sure. It's gonna be a late one. I think there is room for this one to get weird. Um, just taking a look at these two teams from a glance, breaking it all the way down to points per match. AV Alta sitting on 1.5, Portland Hearts of Pine sitting on 1.2. Um, I believe what was our mark last season for playoff line
Ooh.
teams? I think it ended up being to end up being close to like 1 point something per match.
Yeah, I wanna say it was, like,
It's
either
the
point and a
high
half or
ones.
0.75 or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, two teams that are on the cusp of last year's playoff line. I think that's going to be a lot tighter this season. I think you have a lot more room for error in this one this season. But one one thing that is also really, really telling to me is both Portland and AV Alta, while they are winning matches, they're both dropping five. They have both dropped 5 points this season from winning positions. These teams don't finish teams off very well, neither of them. So the fact that we're going to have an after dark match with two teams that can't put the other team away and two teams that can score. I mean, you have AV Alta sitting on 16 goals this season, Portland Hearts Flying sitting on 11 goals this season. These teams can score some goals. So after dark, both teams can't put a team away. I think we're looking like this could be a barn burner, especially being all the way out uh, at AV Alta, Portland making that cross country trip to get out there. You know that they might even be out there now just to try to get the jet lag out of them. Um, I have a feeling that this one is going to be an offensive showcase for both of these teams. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of defense being played.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point about finishing strong, and AV Alta has had they've played 10 matches, but only 6 of them have come at home. In those 6 matches, they've only scored first once. And now they did win that match, but if you look at Portland, they have played. Let's look at this one. They've played 6 matches on the road, and they've only scored first twice on the road, and both of those times were not converted into a win. So um, Portland really needs to come out of this one hot. They need to score very quickly, and when Portland steps into this one, look, you got to have sound defense here because AV Alta is a team that scores by committee. And if you look at AV Alta's goal scorers, they have 3 that have 3 goals. Alexis Cerritos, Jamie Villalobos, Eduardo Blancas, they all have 3 goals scored on the season so far. So when you're lining up against AV Alta, you can't just say man for man. You have to look at all the different ways that they build up their offensive opportunities, where it eventually ends up at the feet of some of these players who can convert. And that's going to be a huge challenge for Portland. But at the same time, Portland has plenty of offensive prowess on their end too, because just as we saw this past weekend, one player carried the team on the score sheet and gave them the victory. But we've seen other players from Portland step up and make that happen as well. And so, um, like you were saying, this has the potential to be a very exciting match. It also has the potential to be one where it's a true team effort on both sides to make that result happen.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And also, I with the goal scoring, I want to just go into both the last 5 regular season matches and the last 5 overall matches for these teams because going into this, you see these two teams' positions on the table, and you think that th- they're not exactly in each other's league. It's deceiving because in the last 5 regular season matches, as far as points go, AV Alta is sitting on 9 points in their last 5 in the regular season. Portland Hearts of Pine is sitting on 8. They are one position away from each other. And in those matches, they've both scored 9 goals in the last 5 regular season matches. The only differentiator between these two teams is the goals allowed. AV Alta's only given up 5, Portland Hearts of Pine have given up 7. That's just in the regular season. if you flip it to the last 5 matches overall, Portland actually holds the advantage over AV Alta. They both scored 10 points in the last 5 overall matches. Both scored 11 goals in the last 5 overall matches, and both have given up 7 goals in the last 5 overall matches.
Wow.
These two teams, though they're far apart on the table, are playing soccer to the same level at this point of the season. This is definitely not going to be one of those matches that it sticks out. I can see why the fans picked this one as the match of the week because diving deeper into these stats, you see these two are evenly matched teams. It sets up, it's League One after dark, it's a cross country trip, it's two teams that are deceivingly close together. I mean, looking at it, I think the fans knocked it out of the park in this one, and I have no no reservations about staying up until 1 o'clock in the morning finishing this one out because I think this one is going to go down to the wire and I think the adrenaline's going to be going for anybody watching it. So good luck getting to sleep. Hope you don't have anything to do on Sunday morning if you're anywhere but the West Coast.
You pulled like your stat right there. That was stat of the night right there. That was a great one. That was a good pull. And looking at, we talked about the committee that it would take to win the match, but we should also recognize the contributions on the other side of the pitch as well, because this could easily be a goalkeeper showcase too. Because Portland Hearts of Pine, Hunter Morse with 20 saves this week, ranked sixth in the league for every goalkeeper that's had an appearance in the league. Right behind him is AV Alta's Denzel Smith with 19. And if you want to look below Denzel Smith, you have Carlos Aviles with 16 saves. Um, Clean sheets. You have Carlos Aviles with 2 clean sheets, Hunter Morse with 2 clean sheets, Denzel Smith with 1. So Hunter Morse is going to be in goal for Portland. That seems obvious. But if you're AV Alta, it doesn't matter if you go with Denzel Smith or Carlos Aviles. You have equally great goalkeepers stepping into the net. Now, it seems as if they have been leaning more toward Carlos Aviles, but um, obviously both goalkeepers are doing. This is like an embarrassment of riches for a single club to have 2 starters and have to only pick or to only be able to pick one each week. That is such a difficult task to do because usually you have the clear favorite for your starter, but then your backup, while still good and can contribute in a very respectable manner, um, there's a little bit of a gap. There's not much of a gap at all between these two goalkeepers. And so then if you think about either one of those two going up against Hunter Morse on the other side of the pitch, this could easily be a very, very fun one to watch. And just like Brian said, looking further into these stats and the storylines that come with it, um, yeah, kudos to the fans. They did a great job picking this one. This
Yep.
one, the storylines didn't immediately jump out, but
Yep.
as we get into this and we start talking about it more, yeah, this one's good.
Yeah. I agree. When that final tally came in to see this one, I was a little bit confused. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of one of those like that's an interesting pick. It's not the one initially that I would have picked. Um, but then deep diving into it for the show, like, yep, yep, okay, I can see why now. I get it. I was wrong. 100%. I was wrong. This is turning out definitely to be the match of the week and just a great pick by the fans, and it's actually made me super excited and a little bit upset that now I am 100% going to be wide awake and completely useless on Sunday. So I appreciate that one from you guys.
Well, are you ready to get into predictions?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'll let you take this one. the prediction. I'm still going back and forth a little bit on. I already know who I think's going to win, but I'm going back and forth on the score in my head.
Okay. Looking at, oh, let me go up to, yeah, this is where I want to be. Looking at recent performances, looking at the obstacles that Portland has when they are traveling to Avialta, that's a legitimate taxing experience to travel across the country like that. And then to be expected to play professional soccer for 90 minutes like that, that's intense. Um, I'm gonna go with Avialta. I mean, Avialta is stellar at home. Um, so I am gonna go with uh Avialta, and I'm gonna say 2-1 over Portland.
Solid. I Yeah, I agree. It's very taxing for these players to go all the way across the country. You're going up against a team that is very good at home. Um, but you know what? There's something about this Portland team. I actually do think Portland comes along and gets this victory, and I do think it's going to be a barn burner. I think Portland gets the victory, but I think it is 4-3 in favor of Portland.
Oh man. Yeah, you really are going for it on that
I
one.
I want to see a big one.
That's awesome.
Listen, man, it's
Four
League
to
One after
three.
dark. It's League One after dark,
Yeah,
and that's we've only had chaos after darks like these. So
yeah, man, that's awesome. Okay, if it ends up being 4-3, holy crap.
that
That would
I'm gonna be so happy when it does.
All right. Well, those are our predictions for the week. If you have any questions, throw them into the live chat. Let me check social media really quick. I don't think I saw anything out
I didn't
there.
see any earlier, but there very well could be some that came in.
Yeah, I don't see anything on social media. So we'll give the fans a minute or two to throw a question into the live chat. Um, man, that's that's cool. So recently we had a couple of um, well, at last night's team talk for Union Omaha, we had a couple players meet out at a bar in central Omaha or Benson, that whole area, and they were talking about uh, what it's like to travel around to the different stadiums and to not only experience the different qualities in the pitch, like the texture and all that kind of stuff, but also the fan environment and all that kind of stuff. And um, they were not expecting to have two fans from Union Omaha in the stadium there in Portland, and they were very, very happy to see the two fans there. And they not only were the fans in the stands, they were at pitch level. They were down, like they had pitch side seats and everything, so they were able to yell and holler and support the team for 90 plus minutes, up close and personal too. And so it was funny to see the reaction on their faces when they got into the bar to see them like, oh yeah, it was you two.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's truly incredible the way that League One fans travel all over the country to support their teams. The teams that are in the Southeast have a very easy time of making those trips, but to make those farther excursions to watch your team play, that's a big sacrifice on the part of the fans. And um, I got to tell you, man, the players eat it up. They love that stuff.
That's one of the great things about it. I mean, it's something that shows that you can build communities and you can build these big fan bases for something even as relatively small as third division soccer is in this country. So, um, and I mean the fact that you have somebody from a couple people from Omaha going to Portland, Maine for a match. It's just crazy. And it's something that I think is going to get easier as more teams get added. Maybe some teams in the Midwest and West Coast will be able to feel what the teams in the Southeast feel like 2, 3 hours. That's a lot more. That's a lot more easy to do than the 6 hour road trip here to Madison or stuff like that. I mean, it'll eventually get there, and I think the league is looking to move that way. But the fact that there are fans coming here, um, like to Omaha or to Portland from Omaha or all the way out to the West Coast to the East Coast. I mean, it's crazy, and League One fans are crazy, but that's why we love League One.
It's going to get even crazier next year when you start thinking about some of the other teams that are joining League One. New Jersey, Fort Lauderdale, Boise, Fort Wayne, Sarasota. There's the ones that that I'm that I can remember for right now. But throwing all those teams into the League One chaos next season, some of them have been around for a few years, but there are some that this will be their first experience in pro soccer,
Yep.
and it's going to be great. There's going to be some rivalries right off the bat, just for from a regional standpoint. Um, but it's going to be so much fun to see all those, just the away trips out there too. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I know that I've asked you, you still want to go to Bree Stevens.
Still want to go to every stadium,
Okay, cool.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
obviously big bucket list ones. Yeah, Bree Stevens City Stadium. Although I have been on the outside of City Stadium, I was up in Richmond for like 4 months. For I was back in military training. I was up stationed in Richmond, Virginia for a while. So I have gone by where City Stadium is, but it was also one of those things where it didn't like click into my head of what it was when I passed it, but I know I have passed it before. So City Stadium would be one to be awesome to go inside. Um and yeah, I mean every stadium, but those are the two that really kind of stick out. And it wouldn't even have to be for a Union Omaha match, honestly. Ideally, I would love to go for a Henny Derby for to either of those places for a Henny Derby, just as a casual fan, just to be there, um, and experience it. So those are the two big ones. But obviously, I would love to go to every single stadium. I'd love to follow Union Omaha to every single match that they go to. If I could logistically make that happen, I would. But
Yeah, if I won the lottery, that's what I would do. I would travel
yeah,
and
I
like,
mean
yeah,
the team would have a team plane, but it would be owned by me. So and
yeah.
I would be on it with him. So
Well, looks like we don't have any more questions coming into the live chat. So with that, we'll go ahead and start wrapping up another episode of League One on the Rocks. Thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode. We will have more breakdowns. We will have more graphics. We will have more polls on the weekend next week, leading up to the next episode. So we have so much more coming at you in a very short period of time. So keep an eye out for all of our stuff on social media, and we will be back with another episode very soon. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at I'm Rich, but I'm not. And that is Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace. Thanks, everybody.